Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome to Psychic Tapestry. I'm Ken Kessler, and she is not Tony DeMeo. Tony is off tonight, and I begged my wife, Lisa, to fill in. Lisa Kessler is not just my wife who's kind enough to fill in. She is also a paranormal romance author, a tarot oracle card reader, and a Blog Talk Radio host, amongst many other things. I should probably shut up and let you say hi, though. So,
hi, everybody.
See, I told you she was here. Don't worry, Tony's fine. And I for some reason I feel like we're off next week, but I'll post about it on social media so that you'll know. The important thing is that we're here live right now, and it is Tuesday, August 10th. So that lets you know that it's live, because if you're listening to this as a podcast later and it's not Tuesday, August the 10th, you know that that's no longer live. But it is right now, and the phone lines are open. 347-838-9903 is the number. You can also connect to us through social media, facebook.com/Psychic Tapestry and @Psychic Tapestry on Twitter. And with a little click there, I am opening the chat room. So if you're listening on the Blog Talk Radio website, you can scroll down, pop in the chat room, and join us there. Ta-da, it's open. So you can do that now if you would like. And we will be getting to your calls in a little bit. So hang in there. To those who are already on the line, hang in there and we will get to you. Lisa has not been on Psychic Tapestry. It's been a while. Do you remember the last time you were on? How long it's been?
I don't remember.
Has it been since we've been in Florida?
Yes.
Okay.
I have filled in once or twice since we've been in Florida.
Okay. We moved to, for those who don't know, and hopefully you care, we moved to Florida around Labor Day last year. So Lisa's
we're coming up on our 1 year.
So Lisa's been on it a couple times in the last month, but for those who didn't catch those or don't know, Lisa's all those things that I said she was and more. First off, let's talk about the writing. You just celebrated your 10th anniversary as a published author. Congratulations. I guess you're still celebrating.
Thank you. Yes, I'm celebrating all this month.
Anything that anybody should know as far as your celebration goes?
Yes, I'm celebrating by giving everyone free books. So each week I have a different free book for the month of August. So everybody should sign up for my newsletter. You can do that on my website because my newsletter has which book is free for this week. But I will let you guys know that this week, Lure of Obsession is free. It is book 1 in the Muse Chronicles. And I think Sedona Sin is also still free because it's in another promotion. So there are 2 free books right now. So the first book in the Sedona Pack series is free, and the first book in the Muse Chronicles is free. So it's a great time to dive in and try these books if you haven't read any of my books before.
And Lisa writes about night walkers, which are similar to vampires, but not quite vampires. Shifters, being werewolves and were-jaguars and that kind of thing. Muses, your pirate
Immortal
series
Pirates.
is great. Immortal Pirates and Slayers, and stories concerning the fairies, that kind of. And we're not going to go through them all because how many books have you published so far?
Well, I don't know how many I've published, but I just finished my 40th book. So
40 books.
Yeah. So a lot of books.
Yeah, that is a lot of books. Rather than go through them all, how about we look at just a few of them? What's the latest one? What's the most recent one that has come out?
The most recent one is Pirate's Promise, and that is in the Immortal Pirate series, Sentinels of Savannah. And Pirate's Promise involves the master gunner on the ship, and he is forced to work on an undercover mission with an agent from Department 13 who he blew her cover last time. So it's very enemies to lovers kind of book. It was super fun, and it's a big adventure. They have to sail on the remake of their pirate ship that sank in 1795 to Scotland to try to recover the mythical Tyrfing sword, which can cut through any material. So, and it's cursed. So anyway, it was quite the adventure, and it just came out, and it's available everywhere. So hope you'll give it a try. You don't have to read the whole series. You can jump in anywhere. I always try to make my books stand alone, but I also still secretly hope that you will enjoy it and go back and read it from the beginning, because it is fun if you get to see all the characters get their happy endings.
And for those who aren't familiar with your Sentinels of Savannah series, can you give sort of a do people still know what Cliff Notes are? Just a short sort of description of what the series is all about.
It's about a pirate crew from the 1700s, and they stole a treasure. It was supposed to be the world's greatest treasure, but when they took over the ship, it was a cup, and it turned out to be the Holy Grail, and they all drank from it without realizing that would make them immortal. So they have all been in Savannah since the 1700s, and they all have normal jobs now, and there is also a top secret division of our federal government called Department 13, and their job is to protect Americans from paranormal threats. And so they have teamed up with the pirates because the pirates can bend the law a little bit with the way federal agents can't. So anyway, now they steal for the federal government, and it's really fun. We pitched it as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. meets Pirates of the Caribbean, and that is very much the theme of the books. Every book gives you a new adventure, and it's really fun.
And what book's coming out next?
The next one out is Sedona Sanctuary. That's the werewolves, and it takes place in Sedona, Arizona, which is like, metaphysical center. Anyway, and the wolf pack is, Sanctuary is the second to the last book in the series. So it's book number 8, and it involves an ex-general. This is my first Silver Fox kind of hero. He's older. But anyway, it's going to be very fun. And it's out on pre-order right now, and the book will be out in October.
And because you are so busy, we talked about the book that came out most recently, which is part of a series, and the one that's coming out next, which is part of another series. And what are you working on right now?
I'm still finishing Sedona Sanctuary right now.
Oh.
And then I will be writing the last 2 pirate books.
Very cool. Because I have to ask questions that I already know the answer to because I'm your husband, so I already know these things. But I think it's very interesting, and we're going to talk about tarot and oracle cards in a little bit. But I know that you use them sometimes in your writing. Can you explain how that came to be and how it works for you?
Yes, I use tarot and oracle cards a lot for writing, and I've even taught some workshops for writers on using cards to help with creativity. But basically, I'm not a plotter, so I write, we call it a pantser because you write by the seat of your pants. But I do like to know my characters ahead of time, just a little bit. And so I will pull 3 tarot cards for the hero and 3 for the heroine, which are past, present, and future. So I know what their life was like before the book. I know where they are when we start the book, and then I know from the future card where they're going to go by the end. And that gives me a little bit of direction. And I also pull an oracle card, which is like their personality trait. And sometimes that will give me a quirk for them, or sometimes it will give me their core belief, or or what they're going to learn. So those really help me. And then sometimes if I get really stuck on a book and I'm in a scene because I don't outline, and sometimes I'm very jealous of people who can write that way because they know what's going to happen. But sometimes this other pirate book that I finished involves Atlantis, and I got stuck for a few days because I was like, I don't know what's down there, but I have to come up with what's down there at the bottom of the ocean. And so when stuff like that happens, sometimes I will pull a card just with a simple question of what needs to happen in this scene. And I pull one card, and that's always really helpful too. So definitely cards really help you tap into your writer's intuition, into the story, and maybe lets you see it from a different angle. Sometimes when we get stuck, it's because we're too caught up in what we think should happen instead of what the story needs. So cards can help you get out of your own way, I think.
Have you ever pulled a card for one of your characters or one of your situations and just thought, nah, and gone to get another card? Because I know that's something, as somebody who does readings, I know that's something that I come into when I'm reading for somebody and they just, that doesn't apply to me. I don't like that card. And certainly when I've done readings for myself, I've pulled a card and I'm like, no, let's move to the next one. Have you ever done that with your writing?
No, because I really believe that you always get the card you need, always. Even if it's not the card you want, it's always the card you need. And sometimes if I struggle with a card and I'm like, I don't understand how this will work, I still hold on to that because I just haven't come to the part yet where that is the exact right card. So I don't let myself off the hook. Usually I feel like if you get a card where you're like, what? That doesn't seem, I feel like that's because that card is giving you a little inkling of what's coming up. So you should pay attention because it is the right card. You just haven't gotten there yet, if that makes sense.
Oh, it certainly does. And I know for me, when I'm reading for myself, and a lot of times I'll if you've listened to this podcast before, you know that I work in music and with music, and a lot of times the song will come up and I know exactly what it means, and that's not the message that I want. So I'm ready to go to the next song and get something else. But that message that I didn't want, that will stick with me, and I know that's the message that I need, regardless of whether it's the one that I want. I know that comes up, and I'm sure that happens with anybody else, anybody who's listening right now who has done readings for themselves. You know that's how it goes sometimes. You just the cards know. The cards just know.
You just, I don't know how it works. I just know it does. And you always get the card you need. It just sometimes you're not to that point yet. I feel like cards are just a tool to tap into your intuition. And so sometimes we're so stuck in the present and stuck in now that when we use this tool and we pull a card, sometimes it's spirit giving us a little sneak peek of what's to come. And so we look at it and it makes no sense, but it will make sense. And there's a reason that you drew that card, and it's so you can be ready because it's coming, kind of thing. So if I pull a card that I can't figure out what that would have to do with what's happening right now, I usually hold on to it because I feel like give it a day or two and then you're going to go, oh, that's what that was about. And you won't be blindsided because you sort of got a clue from the card.
And I don't know if this happens to you for those kind of polls, those kind of readings for your characters. But I know that another thing is that the universe is funny. The universe has a great sense of humor, and our ancestors usually have a pretty good sense of humor. And I know that I have an ancestor who likes to send me a song. It's a Cliff Richard song from the 70s called "We Don't Talk Anymore," and the big hook in the song is, "It's so funny how we don't talk anymore." And he sent that to me because it's true, and he thinks it's hilarious. It's so funny we don't talk anymore. And we don't talk anymore. We don't talk a lot because he's on the other side now. And we used to message and we used to call and Skype and stuff all the time. But he thinks that's funny. And I don't know, do you ever get anything that is sort of like that for your books?
I don't write funny books, so not usually. Yeah, I can't think of any that make me laugh. I did have a book once that got stuck, one of the pirate books, and I do have a pirate tarot deck. So when I'm writing those books, I'll use the pirate tarot deck for, what should happen next. And I had a scene that would not end no matter what I did. It wouldn't end. And I felt like this is boring to me. It's going to be boring to the reader. How in the world am I going to make this end? I had gotten her out on the ship, and she was a historian, so she was really into this remake of the 1700s pirate ship. And I was like, I can't make it end. So I pulled a tarot card, and in that particular deck, it renames some of the cards. And anyway, it was the overboard card, and that hadn't even crossed my mind that I could throw her overboard. But as soon as I got that card, I was like, perfect. So I had them tack the ship. And so when the beam that's attached to the main mast swings across, all the crew knew to duck, but she did not, and it pushed her right off the deck. And then there was a big rescue, and anyway, it ended up being a great scene in that book, which I never would have thought of in a million years. But that tarot card was like, throw her overboard. So I guess that was kind of funny.
When I introduced you, I also mentioned that you are a Blog Talk radio host. You have a podcast called Book Lights that is on. Well, I know you record it on Mondays. Is it live?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's live every Monday at 1:00 Eastern, almost every Monday. Pretty much every Monday. And Monday. And so what is I don't want to tell your story. What is Book Lights about?
So Book Lights is every week I talk to different authors who have new books out, and we shine a light on the books and we talk. It's just a really fun chat. You can find out books to add to your to-read list because we talk about what we're reading now and what we're watching now on Netflix and that kind of stuff. And it's a fun way to get to meet new authors and find new authors and hear about books that just came out. I do all different genres. In October, it's only horror, but the rest of the year, it's all different genres. We just had Kathy Reichs on, who writes the Temperance Brennan mysteries that turned into the Bones TV show. She was on a couple weeks ago, and we had Tess Gerritsen this week, and she's got a couple TV shows out of her books. So anyway, it's always just this really eclectic mix of authors, sometimes YA, sci-fi, fantasy, romance. We've got them all. So anyway, you can find them on my website. The past shows are all on there if you just click Book Lights, the Book Lights tab. And if you are an author or know an author, I do have a submissions form there as well. And you can, or if you have a favorite author that you would like me to try and get, you can also send me a message through there and I'll see what I can do. But it's really fun, and you can tune in every Monday.
And what is your website?
It is authorlisakessler.com.
Okay. I'll post that on our social media if you didn't get a chance to jot that down, authorlisakessler.com. So let's talk about tarot and oracle cards. How did you get into reading cards?
I'm not sure when I got my first tarot deck. I've always been interested in tarot, and I wanted to read them. But the first deck I got was the starter deck that everyone tells you to get, the Rider-Waite deck. And I could not connect with that deck. It is full of angry men. And I would read that book and none of it would stick with me. And I wasn't good at it. And so I would give up and I'd set it aside. And then I would find another deck that I like. And then I would give up and set it aside. And probably, 15 years ago or so, I found a new deck that I really liked and I could connect with. And so then it kind of grew from there. Now I have so many decks, it's just embarrassing. But I also developed kind of my own way to tap into the symbolism and the colors and all that stuff on your deck. So I do teach practical tarot class so that people can figure out how they can read the card without having to memorize a book, and also practical ways you can use tarot in your life. So anyway, I am shopping around an idea for that, and someday I would like to make a practical tarot deck. Would be cool. Dreaming big. But anyway, I do love tarot very much, and I am a big believer in that it's a tool. And so even if the traditional card meaning is one thing, if you see something on there that speaks to you, that's why you drew that card. So, I feel like a lot of times with tarot, people get so wrapped up in that they have to memorize 78 cards from a book. And the what's written down for the book is kind of the author's inspiration for that deck, but it's the symbolism and it's a tool. So you really should try and tap in and see what messages you get, and then trust them. That's the hardest part, is trusting your gut. So, trust what you get, because that was the reason you pulled that card.
I know you said you don't know when that you got your first tarot deck. Any idea about how many years you've been reading now for yourself and others?
Over 10 years.
Okay. How many decks would you say you have?
I don't know.
I'm not trying to embarrass you. It is one of those things. I know I have 2 decks that I can reach from where I'm sitting right now. All the rest of my decks, I believe, actually they're not. I have a bunch of decks. We're at our home right now, and Lisa's in her office, and I'm in mine. Several of my decks are in that office, and turning around, I can't remember where I put them. I'm still unpacking. We've only been here a year. But I know that I've got, I think, 4 or 5 decks in here besides the 2 that I can reach. And it's just one of those things, when you start using metaphysical tools, you like to get things that you connect with, that you're drawn to. And I couldn't even tell you how many pendulums I have. A lot. And whatever a lot means to you, it's more than that. But
he does have a lot of pendulums.
That's the tool. I just got a new one last night, actually. I saw it, and I was trying not to touch any pendulums in this new shop we went to, and I saw it, and I just couldn't help it. And I know you were drawn to a new deck last night, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah. Last night I got a new Oracle deck called the Mystical Wisdom, and it's beautiful. I picked it up because I love the artwork. I will say that I have more Oracle decks than I do tarot decks now, because I have tarot decks that I love working with, and it's harder for me to imprint on a new tarot deck, I guess, whereas Oracle decks are usually, there's a theme, and so if the theme speaks to me, then I'm very excited about that deck, whereas with tarot decks, it's always risky. Like, I got one, the Spellcaster's Tarot, which I was so excited about because the artwork on it is so diverse. There are people of all different colors, it's very, and orientations, and it's very diverse. And so I was sure that I would love it. But the problem is that the minor arcana is wonderful, love very much. But the major arcana is, some of them are completely opposite of what I would consider the meaning of that card, the artwork, I mean. So there is artwork on there that's scary for a lot of the cards, and so I would never use it to do a reading for someone else, because I would hate for them to, turn over a card and go, So when you're buying tarot cards, since you can only see a few of them, it's always risky, because you don't know if if the major arcana looks beautiful, maybe the minor arcana is lame, So anyway, it makes it harder to, since I have a few tarot decks that I love, that I work really well with, it's really hard to get excited about another tarot deck, whereas oracle cards, it's like chewing gum. I'm like, oh, look at the art on this one. Oh, this one's about unicorns. Oh, this one is, so it's easier for me to get carried away with oracle cards.
So what you need to do is find another deck that has a major arcana that you really like, and then blend the two.
Yeah, then I could blend it with the Spellcaster's Tarot. That's true.
That would be very, very interesting, and really, it's just a tool. I know there are some people who will, carefully wrap their tarot deck in a specific kind of cloth and put it somewhere very safe, and it's very sacred to them, and no one else can touch it. And I guess if that's how you feel about it, then that's fine for you. But I like to, if I'm doing a reading, especially in person, I like the other person to touch the cards, because it gets their energy involved in the reading.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people who doesn't want people touching my cards. For me, they're a tool, and I feel very confident that my angels and guides aren't letting any of your energy stick to my cards. So I like people to, if I'm doing a reading in person, I like them to, feel and pick cards that they're drawn to. I do a lot of readings over Zoom now, and so I will use my pendulums for my spirit guides. Depending on what their questions are, I will choose which guide depending on that, and then I let the pendulums pick the cards so that I don't get my energy all up in there. You don't mean to, but every once in a while, if you're drawing cards for someone, you turn it over and you're like, oh, that was for me. So I have my pendulums draw the cards so that doesn't happen.
Well, and you can't help but do that, and part of it, and I talk about this on this podcast and our Psychic Tapestry 2 podcast quite a bit, is that angels and spirit like to use what's in our head as the reader to trigger in whoever's getting the reading whatever it is they need to know. And sometimes it's by our reaction, and sometimes it's just what we say, and that's just how it works. And when you turn over that card as the reader and you get a jolt of what that means to you, that might be something that's also for the person you're giving the reading to. It's at least worth mentioning. I know when I get songs, and sometimes I feel like, oh, that one's for me, like the one I mentioned earlier, We Don't Talk Anymore. I still want to mention that because it could mean something to whoever's getting the reading. There's a lot of times there's a reason that you get that. Now, I know when you do readings, you have a YouTube channel where you do a free reading that's usually posted every Monday for the week.
Right.
And I just wanted to sort of run down this week's reading, and you don't have to look it up. I have it right in front of me.
Okay.
About, so to give sort of a little bit of an example of how you read. So in the reading that you did, your video for this week, first card was the Queen of Cups.
Yes. You want me to tell people what that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
I thought you were just going to read the 3 cards. Okay. So I told everybody on my reading for the week that the Queen of Cups is your feminine energy, and cups is the element of water, so it represents our emotions. So people associate these with the love cards, but it's really all of your emotions. And the Queen of Cups is usually sitting on a throne alone, and she doesn't notice her spirit guides flying around. She doesn't notice opportunities passing her by. She's almost always staring at her cup, because when the Queen of Cups comes up, often it's because we have slipped into the habit of that we have love instead of participating in the love. So if you are in a relationship, it might be time to, start a new cycle, to go, hey, let's do something together, or something like that. If you're not in a relationship, it can mean anything like a passion that you have that you love doing, but now you're just doing it because you always do. Time to, like, if you're in a sport and you practice, but you've sort of lost your passion for it, this Queen of Cups is calling you to, get off your throne and get involved again. So, and sometimes, too, it can just be a validation that you are taking care of everyone else and watching their feelings, and, sometimes we have to do that. So sometimes it's as simple as a validation that universe sees what you're doing and, appreciates that you're taking care of who you need to take care of.
Do you remember which deck this was that you were using?
The Mystic Dreamer.
I don't know if you know this, and I apologize for, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But do you know off the top of your head how different the Queen of Cups is in that deck versus any of your other decks?
How different it is?
Yeah. Would the message be the same, or would it be a little different from a different deck?
Well, I have another deck called the Light Seers Tarot, and the Queen of Cups in that deck is a little bit more joyous, I guess. And so when I do use that deck, I feel like that deck, usually the Queen is more of a validation that, you do take care of everyone else and you are careful of everyone's emotions, and good job with that. So if I was using that deck, it's usually, I feel like the Queen cards are more of a validation that you're doing this and good job. Whereas with my other deck, it's almost always, I feel like you need to get up and get back in the race. You're missing things. So yeah, there's a little bit of a different flavor depending on the deck.
The reason I ask that is that I think that some people get overwhelmed with tarot because there's a lot of cards, and you have to learn what all the cards mean, and then and they kind of miss out because all that information is so overwhelming that you miss out on the idiosyncrasies of particular decks, because Queen of Cups is not always exactly the same in every deck. And I'm not just singling out that card. It just happens to be the first one in this reading you did. And it's the same whether it's the Tower or whatever else. It's not always exactly the same. It depends on that card, and it depends on the deck that you're drawn to and your own interpretation of it. So it's not always the same. So it's not just as simple or as complicated as memorizing 72 cards, especially when there's 78.
True. Yes.
Okay, so that was the first card. The second card that you drew was the Fool.
Yes, and the Fool is all about taking a leap of faith. I like to look at the major arcana as going on a hero's journey, very writerly of me. But anyway, when you, every deck, you start with card number 0, which is the Fool. And the Fool is almost always in decks, he's taking a step off and there's no ground, because it's all about taking a leap of faith and trusting that this is the right path for you. And I always describe it to people as an opportunity is going to come your way, and it's going to seem just a little bit out of your comfort zone. And part of you is going to be going, but I don't know how to do that, or I don't know if I can do that, or I don't know if I have enough experience for that. But the Fool doesn't come up unless this is the right move for you. It's always Spirit telling you to take this leap of faith because you're worth it and you'll be able to do it. And your world will get bigger because you took this chance. So when the Fool comes up, it's always keep your eye out, because when that opportunity arises, it was meant for you. Spirit put it in your path for a reason. So this week, and I feel like, and I probably said it in the reading too, that the Queen and the Fool kind of go together, because your first inkling might be to stay on your throne where you're safe. And the Fool is calling you to come on, we're going to have an adventure. So definitely this week, watch for an opportunity that might be a stretch for you and take it. Don't let it pass by.
And the third card was the Four of Pentacles.
Yes. The Four of Pentacles it's minor arcana first, and Pentacles is the element of earth. It's your earthly goods, your earthly body. So the 4 is always the health and money cards. And it goes in a cycle from ace to 10. So the 4, you're not quite halfway there. And in all the different elements, the 4 is usually mourning or jealousy or that kind of thing. It's feeling like you've lost something. And so the 4 of Pentacles, sometimes people call it like the miser card. You're clutching those pentacles and you never want to let them go. Or you've lost them. They've fallen on the ground and you're weeping over these pentacles that you lost. But the thing is, you've got all these blessings behind you. You know, you just need to look at them. And so, like I said in the reading, this week, stop beating yourself up for mistakes you've made or money you've lost, or if you're feeling like this is health related, you know, if you gained a couple pounds this week or something like that, this card is calling you to not beat yourself up for that and stop staring at it and instead look at all these blessings. Oh my gosh, I can still get up and walk. I can exercise, I can make better choices, and all that kind of thing. So the 4 is definitely calling on you to stop looking at where things are, you know, things that you lost or that you've mixed up or that you spent, and instead take that energy and pump it into what you've still got going for you. And that can also go with that Queen card as well. You know, get back up and get back in the race. So
when you do a reading like this, where you've got the Queen of Cups, the Fool, and the 4 of Pentacles, is there any sort of theme to it? Was there any sort of, it's not past, present, future. Is anything like that?
No, my reading for the week, my intention when I draw those cards is always, what do we need to know? So that's why the cards tell a story. It's not like a, you know, Celtic cross where each card is, this is your block and this is your, you know, it's not like that at all. It's storytelling through cards. So the intention is always, what do we need to know this week? And these are the 3 cards. And then I draw an oracle card too. And so it's definitely to give you an overview for the week, not, it's not each one is a different theme.
So you draw 3 tarot cards and an oracle card. Any particular reason why is it always 3 tarot and 1 oracle?
Uh-huh.
Any particular reason, or is that just
when I started doing it, originally it was just tarot cards, but I started adding an oracle card too, just because I love oracle cards, but also because sometimes I do this in my one-on-one readings as well. I feel like tarot cards really dig into the 4 aspects of your life, but if you want to get even more detailed, it's easier to dig down with an oracle deck, because then you don't get a random, like, for instance, if you were getting a reading and you were very concerned about your job and your love life. And so in the tarot cards, we did get a bunch of cups and also pentacles. But if we wanted to find out more, like, do you think we'll get this new job that we're working on? Well, I would go to an oracle deck to dig deeper, because if you pull another tarot card and you get swords, now you're talking about your thoughts, or you get wands, I guess you could weave into your work. But for me, I like to dig down with oracle cards, because I have a million different decks of oracle cards, but I can pick a deck depending on what it is that we're looking for, and get one that the theme is that kind of, what you need to know. And you can get something that's not going to throw you off by being, not related to what my question was. So when I started doing the readings for the week, I started adding an oracle card, because I feel like the tarot cards give us kind of this story out of the 3 cards, and then the oracle card gives us just a little more direction. They almost always all go together, but I just feel like the oracle card gives us a really good, okay, here's our direction. I don't remember what the oracle card was for this week, though. I can't remember. I think it was.
It's Waxing Crescent Moon.
Yeah, I remember it was a moonology card. Yeah. And wasn't that one about following your dreams or something like that?
Have faith in your dreams.
There we go, which totally goes with the Fool. And also, stop worrying about what you messed up and move forward. So there's that 4 of Pentacles again. So anyway, I feel like the oracle card gives us a little validation about the direction of the tarot cards that we got, if that makes sense.
It does, and I'm going to stop asking questions because I've eaten up most of our time. The Lisa's weekly reading, the latest video is on our social media, so you can find it on our Facebook page and on Twitter, or you can search for Lisa Kessler on YouTube, and you'll find all of her readings. You'll find her channel, and you can subscribe, and it doesn't cost anything. And the reason that I mentioned that is something that I sort of discovered recently. When you subscribe to a channel on YouTube, that means next time you go to YouTube, if there's a new video or new videos, they're there waiting for you. So you don't have to do a search or anything because you want them. So it's a great idea. So you can do that. But that's on our social media, so you can find that, or just look for Lisa on YouTube. I want to switch gears and get the phone and try and take as many calls as we can. You have your cards at the ready?
I do.
Okay. Since I have monopolized so much time and talked so much, I'm not going to read tonight. I'll just let you do it, and we'll try and get to as many people as we can in the time we have left. The number is 347-838-9903. Is there anything anybody needs to know before I start grabbing phone calls?
Nope.
Okay. Well, that's easy enough. In that case, hi, thanks so much for hanging on. What's your first name?
Hi, my first name is Tanika.
Hi, Tanika. Where are you calling from?
New York, Long Island, New York.
And how can Lisa help you tonight?
I would like to know if I should leave my job now. I got a job offer from a few different places. One of them as an assistant manager at a retail store, and another one as someone who just takes returns back to Fifth Avenue. So I have other interviews to go on, and and it's like if each day passes, I still haven't given a week notice, it's my job. I've been there since 2019. It's like it goes good, and then something always happens, and then it goes good. And the benefits are good. You don't have to pay for them, and it's very close to my house, and the other jobs are kind of out of the way. So I'm just wondering, like, if now is a good time for me to just go, or should I stay, or which one?
Okay. I want to ask you too, if you go, are you moving your house also, or are you going to stay where you are now?
I would stay where I am because I want to move out and live on my own. I live with my mom, who's older, and I want to live on my own. I want to move out, hopefully leave New York, because it's expensive to try to move out on your own. I've been trying.
Right.
So I've been trying to do that, like move to Florida and get a car, which I don't have either. So, I'm going into something that would be like the beginning of the holiday season for retail, and also I would be trekking it to get to these jobs, and I'd be on my feet again. And I don't know, it's a lot of things to think about, but my job is just, I don't know.
You're sort of stuck. You can't afford to move out on that job, right?
I feel that way. I mean, I was offered from tax $1 more, but 30 hours, whereas right now I'm making 42 hours, and I don't feel it's my current job because the people in my department have not been nice to me since day one, and I've had to fight for respect, and I don't even have it. I don't think I ever will, but it's always something there, because people there they've been there forever and they don't have any ambition.
Right.
And I want to grow, and the job already told me you won't be able to transfer again until next April 2022. And they told me that in 2019 I'd be able to transfer in 2021 of June, which I've been trying, and now they told me this. So it's like...
Oh, are they not letting you transfer? Is it because of COVID, or why won't they let you transfer?
No, because of the little thing they put on my record to find a reason to be able to transfer, not even in the building or to transfer to Florida. And that was my intention with getting a job with this company because they had locations opening in Florida. So now I feel like, I'm like, and everyone's like, don't, you should swallow your pride. You don't want to jump out of the frying pan into the fire. But
well, the first card that I got for you was the Ace of Wands. I had my primary guide, Morgan, draw these for you. And the first card being the Ace of Wands makes me feel like you do need to take action. And because it's the Ace, it's the beginning of a new cycle. So it's taking new action. So I would say that this is definitely a big pull to watch for signs. On this deck, the wand has split a boulder, and there's a bird sitting on the boulder staring at her. And the birds in tarot represent your spirit guides and your angels. So I would say, rather than just walking in tomorrow and going, hey, I quit, instead know that there is a new job coming, but watch for signs so that you know which one it is. Your spirit guides are going to give them to you. So keep your eye out for, I know you're in New York, so something odd that shouldn't be there, you find a feather, or you find, something where you're like, whoa, that is a sign. And so if that happens, then look around you and see what's around and go, I have never thought about that company, but that might, get on your phone and see if they have openings, if they have an office in Florida or something like that. Because I do see that because you got the Ace of Wands, it's a whole new beginning of taking action. Wands is fire, so I do feel like you are going to get a new job with a different company. Also, I had her draw another card, and we got the Three of Swords. And swords is the element of air. It represents our thoughts. So they're super real in our head, but they're not out in the world. And the Three of Swords, nobody wants to get it because it looks horrible. It's always 3 swords in your heart or 3 swords in your head. And the thing about the Swords cards is it is all in your head, even though it feels real. So when the Three of Swords comes up, I'm always telling people that it feels like no matter what you do, you're going to break your heart. But remember that because it's swords, it's not real. So when that happens, you need to, take a deep breath and go, okay, I know it's going to be okay. I've just built it up in my head. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is about your job now. So just know that you're done there. You will be done there. There is going to be another job, but don't burn bridges and try to, if I were you, try to find this other opportunity before you just toss in the towel, because I feel like you're in your head, you've built up, that they're making it so you can't transfer and nobody gives you respect and all that. I'm not saying swallow it like the people are telling you swallow your pride kind of thing, because you are going to get a new opportunity. So just let it slide off you. Does that make sense?
You're saying to stay there longer and don't, for example, take the job offer from Saks?
Well, I thought you said you don't have an offer yet.
Oh, no, I've been on interviews. I got 2 offers so far.
Okay, I thought you were thinking about applying for those. Okay, yeah, definitely. I would take the offer and go. Ace of Wands, go for it.
Okay. Yeah. 'Cause one is at Saks, and then another one is an assistant manager at a retail store, but it seems like it would be a lot of work, but the woman that I would be working with seems so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm worried about being on my feet again and going back into the retail world again. I'm like, is this going to be a bad move if I go to Saks? Is it going to end in disaster?
No.
Okay.
No, I think it's going to be a great new opportunity for you. It will be a lot of work. You don't get wands if there's not work attached to it. So it will be a lot of work, but I think you'll enjoy it. Let me drop one more here. Oh, perfect. Had her draw one more card for you, and we got the 8 of Cups. And Cups is the element of water, so it's your heart and your emotions. And the 8, it comes up when it's time for a new journey. So like in this deck, she has all the cups behind her, and she's standing there with her violin ready to play a new song. So again, this is another validation for, go to that new job. It's time. You've learned everything you can learn, and it's right behind you in those cups. And now you're ready for this new opportunity.
All right.
Okay. Let us know how it goes.
Helps.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Right. Thanks
Good luck.
for calling. I was about to give out the phone number, but we're running out of time, so I want to try and squeeze in another one or two here. Hi, thanks so much for hanging on. What's your first name?
Hello.
Hi, what's your first name?
Nathaniel.
Hi, Nathaniel. How can we help? How can Lisa help you tonight?
Well, I was hoping they could pull a couple cards for me.
What do you need to know? What's your intention?
Well, I've kind of started a new life here. I'm not working at my old job anymore, and so I'm just thinking it's a big kind of turnaround, kind of the Phoenix syndrome.
Oh, okay. You're rising up out of the ashes?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I have some cataract surgery in about a week, so I'm hoping that's going to go really good.
Will that help you to find a new opportunity, you think?
I think it's supposed to be good because it clears your, third eye or something too. It's supposed to be representative of your life. I think when you clear your eye, that you'll see better. So you might have better, psychic ability or something.
Yeah. Well, I had Morgan draw 2 cards for you, and they're both major arcana, so it's both events that are coming up. And we got the Lovers, which represents a partnership, a healthy partnership where you guys protect a mutual interest. and also the Hero font, which is all about learning something new. Every deck he's surrounded by books and all that kind of thing. So I feel like with regards to your cataract surgery, once you get that done, dive in and start learning something new, because it's going to lead to a new partnership for you, and that could be very good. So, but whatever that partnership is, you're going to have to learn something new. So once you have clear vision and you're able to see, be sure that you watch for signs about what is it I should learn. You can even ask Spirit, meditate on it. What do I need to learn for this new opportunity? And you're going to get those answers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, learn to laugh.
There you go. Yeah, but I think your surgery is going to go great. I don't see anything bad here.
Well, that's good. That was really big, both eyes.
Sending you good
stuff.
vibes. I hope it all works out well for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you.
Right. Thank you so much for calling us tonight, Nathaniel.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We've just got a few minutes left. You want to pull maybe one card for somebody? Here, let me give you one more person.
All right.
Hi, thanks for hanging on. What's your first name?
Hello.
Okay, maybe not. Try this one. Hi,
Hello.
Thanks for hanging on. What's your first name?
Patricia,
I'm sorry?
can you hear me? My name is Patricia. Thank you for taking my
Patricia.
call.
Sure,
All right.
we've just
Yes.
got a few minutes left,
Yes.
and Blog
Yes,
Talk Radio will cut us off. So how can Lisa help you
Mhm.
tonight?
Yeah, I had applied to a job as a rater, one of these AI company jobs, but I had so much material to learn. I'm getting another opportunity. But is this job is this a good place for me to start? And I'd be doing the work from my with my computer and the Wi-Fi hotspot. But is this a good position? And it's probably, I'm sure temp or part-time or something.
Okay, and the other job that you have, you don't think is a good fit?
No, that's the only one.
Oh, okay. I thought you said there was another one, but then this opportunity came up to work from home.
No, I studied for the test on this position.
Oh, okay.
I didn't pass the test, but they're giving me another opportunity.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right.
But it's
Well-
so much material.
Okay. Well, I got the Knight of Swords, and swords is the element of air. It represents our thoughts, and knights they always rush in where others fear to tread. So a lot of times it's a nudge from spirit that it's time to actually make a plan. And on this particular deck, he is racing off with his sword raised, but the sign next to the street is blank. So he doesn't know where he's going, but he's getting there really fast. So I would say that this is definitely a nudge from spirit for you to really buckle down and start learning these things and make a plan for yourself, like plan out how you'll study to learn this new job so that you can get it all down, because your heart's in the right place. And you don't get this Knight of Swords card if it isn't a good idea. So it's a good idea, but you need to be sure that you have the follow through to make it all work out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
a large document. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So make yourself a real plan, like sit down and go, I'm going to go through 10 pages in the morning and 5 pages at night and get it all done, because this is a good opportunity for you, and it's going to be good as long as you make a plan to learn all those things, okay?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck with it. Let us know how it goes.
Thank you
you.
so much for calling us, Patricia. We are quickly running out of time. Lisa, thank you for jumping in and filling in for Tony tonight.
You're welcome.
And I can't remember. I feel like we were supposed to be off next week, but I'm not sure. So I might be asking you to come on next Tuesday too, but we'll talk later off, and I won't put you on the spot right now. I did post a link on our social media to Lisa's website. So if you're interested in her podcast, in her readings, in her books, especially the free ones, go check it out, authorlisakessler.com. And if you would like a private reading, go to psychictapestry.com, click on our readers and teachers, and go to Lisa's page, and you can book a private reading there. Blog Talk Radio is going to cut us off here in a second. So thanks, Lisa. Thanks again. Thanks to everybody who called in. Thank you for listening. And I think we'll be back next week, but check our social media to be sure. In the meantime, take care of yourself, stay safe, and we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.